May it please my fellow delegates and brother knights. Today marks the 20th time I have addressed the Supreme Convention as your Supreme Knight. We know that the Knights of Columbus is much more than a typical service organization. Our dedication to charity and unity is exemplary. But what really sets us apart is our commitment to fraternity. Membership in the Knights of Columbus is not a casual commitment. It is a commitment to be a brother. As brother knights, we are transforming ourselves, and in so doing, transforming the world around us.
In August 2020, the Knights of Columbus held its 138th Supreme Convention in New Haven, Connecticut. Due to the global pandemic, it was the first time in history that a convention was held virtually. Delegations of Knights gathered in small groups across the globe to participate in this historic event.
This is the first time that we've held the convention virtually. So rather than being with all of the delegates and all of the board members and the clergy together in one room for the masses and for the business sessions, we're doing the convention virtually this year.
The COVID crisis just presented a challenge, but not an impediment to succeeding in bringing the convention flavor, fervor, and favor to all the members and the delegates.
Archbishop Leonard Blair celebrated the opening Mass from St. Mary's Church, the birthplace of the order, and where the body of Father McGivney is interred.
Like the courageous watchmen and fearless shepherds that St. John Vianney and the Venerable Michael J. McGivney were in their day, we too need to be faithful to the truth about God and man that brings us together at this Mass, namely, that only in Jesus Christ and His gospel can people find the real freedom, equal dignity, and fraternity for which we and all people have been created and redeemed.
The Holy Father sent an official greeting, thanking the Knights for their prophetic witness to a more fraternal, just, and equitable world.
Today, your strong and courageous defense of the inviolable dignity of human life from its conception, and your commitment to strengthen family life, thanks to such initiatives as the Into the Breach video series and the Leave No Neighbor Behind program, offer the Knights and their families a true path to daily sanctification and Christian witness.
The Knights received greetings from heads of state and welcomed an international audience in proceedings that were shared live around the world in multiple languages on 3 Catholic networks.
The Supreme Convention is no exception.
My brother knights, living in fraternity is what we do every day in 1,000 different ways in our Knights of Columbus councils throughout the world. It is this commitment to fraternity that gives us the fraternal strength to do the great works of charity that our challenging times demand.
No, ten rok jest oczywiście całkowicie inny, więc myśmy przerobili wersję mobilną taką już naszej konwencji stanowej w Polsce, kiedy zebraliśmy się tylko małą grupą na Jasnej Górze, natomiast wszyscy inni poszczególne rady łączyły się z nami przez internet.
the coronavirus gave rise to many urgent needs in our parishes and communities. To meet those needs, we developed an emergency church loan program for Catholic dioceses facing financial crisis. We implemented a multi-million-dollar food assistance program, and we launched our Leave No Neighbor Behind initiative. The response has been overwhelming. Knights of all ages, from all walks of life, rose to the occasion.
A lot of families are going through difficult times with this virus going around. Us Knights of Columbus are delivering these boxes full of food.
When we heard that they were in dire straits for certain supplies, we made a delivery.
Thanks Knights of Columbus for leaving no neighbors behind.
I started the Kapuna Needs Project along with the help of my dad and some of his fellow Knights of Columbus.
Native populations are always hit disproportionately hard by pandemics.
We go shopping for people that can't get out, for the elderly, the sick.
After this week, we've done about 1,300 meals for the homeless.
This community's hard hit. They're devastated with jobs, and they need food.
Being here with my son, it's a good way to show him putting faith into action.
We have an opportunity to show our kindness to priests that have given so much over the years.
As brothers, band together. We have the manpower, let's use it.
Over this past year in particular, I am proud to report that once again, our members set a record for charitable giving, together donating more than $187 million to charitable causes and volunteering more than 77 million hours.
As the strong right arm of the Church, Knights continue to stand with persecuted Christians throughout the world, offering aid and support.
Since 2014, the Knights of Columbus has committed more than $25 million to help our brothers and sisters in the faith who have been targeted for genocide by ISIS. We rebuilt the town of Karamlas and the Syriac Cathedral in Karakwash. We built McGivney House, a 140-unit apartment building in Erbil, and helped expand the Catholic University of Erbil. We provided food, clothing, shelter, and emergency medical care for tens of thousands of displaced persons. But while the threat from ISIS has been reduced, the persecution of Christians in other parts of the world has increased. The situation is especially extreme in Africa. For example, reports estimate that tens of thousands of Christians have been killed in Nigeria alone in the past 2 decades. So I am pleased to announce today that the Knights of Columbus will launch a new initiative to report on the situation in Nigeria, similar to what was done in Iraq, in the hope that greater attention by American diplomacy and humanitarian aid can make a difference there. Christians in Africa, just as in the Middle East, have a right to exist, and we stand in solidarity with them.
Works of unity complement the Knights' many works of charity. Earlier this year, the Supreme Knight tackled head-on the growing civil unrest in this country, calling for an end to racism and the restoration of an informed patriotism.
Many of our fellow citizens are still treated differently because of the color of their skin. Whenever and wherever this happens, it is wrong, and it must be righted. Again, in the words of Pope Francis, the Church must not remain on the sidelines of the fight for justice. Our example of brotherhood can show our nation a better way, Where others tear down, let us build up with charity. Where others seek to divide, let us promote unity. And where racism festers, let us build fraternity.
With attacks against Christopher Columbus and St. Junipero Serra spreading across the nation, the Supreme Knight offered a stirring defense of our nation's spiritual heritage.
Against the violence of those who would tear down statues of our saints and desecrate our places of worship, we must be resolute and make clear that their violence will not prevail. We will not be intimidated. We will defend our right to practice our faith. My brother knights, now a radical one-sided narrative asserts that Columbus, the same man who severely punished those under his authority when they mistreated indigenous peoples, that he represents all that is evil in the American experience. This is a disservice to the truth. Our defense of religious liberty is inherently linked to our identity as Catholics and as Knights of Columbus. Today I ask every Knights of Columbus Council, and I encourage every parish community to implore the intercession of Our Lady of Guadalupe to heal our people. Our nations once again need to hear her message of love, hope, and reconciliation.
This was a different report, definitely. He recognized the moment in history we're living with people protesting the racial division and the people trying to change history, to desecrate statues and Christopher Columbus. So all that turmoil that is going on, he's recognizing that. He's looking at our position as Catholic men that participate in civilization and policy making and making an influence. So that's what the message of the Supreme Knight focused on, saying, let's focus on that future that is coming. Become informed, participate, and be active.
The Knight's commitment to charity, support for the Church, and civic engagement is anchored in its membership. In the past fraternal year, the Order grew to an all-time high of over 2 million men around the globe.
Today, the universality of Father McGivney's vision and the appeal of the Knights of Columbus can be seen in our recent expansion into Poland, Ukraine, Lithuania, the Republic of Korea, and France. Brother Knights in these countries have enriched the Knights of Columbus in countless ways by their commitment to charity, unity, and fraternity. All of this points to the universal appeal of our founder's vision. Increasingly, we will find the holy example of Father McGivney to be an inspiration for both laity and clergy throughout the Church.
We've now expanded to Asia, into South Korea, continuing to expand the order, to tell the story of Father McGivney, and to encourage men to become knights, to become better men, better husbands, better fathers, better Catholic men.
Un aspecto muy importante para los caballeros de Colón, defender la vida desde su concepción hasta su muerte natural, incluyendo a los más necesitados, a las viudas y a los huérfanos, como fue el ideal de nuestro fundador, Michael J. McGivney.
The Knights continue to build a culture of life and work to restore legal protection to unborn children. The Supreme Knight reflected on the Order's commitment to defend the dignity of human life.
The Knights of Columbus has played a leading role in the pro-life movement over the past 50 years. Brother Knights were there in 1974 to help organize the first March for Life in Washington, D.C. Pope Francis has written that the defense of the innocent unborn needs to be clear, firm, and passionate, for at stake is the dignity of a human life, which is always sacred. Encouraged by these words, we will continue to build a culture of life in all the nations in which we are active. As I have said before, our ultrasound initiative is the greatest humanitarian achievement in the history of the Knights of Columbus. Now, if each ultrasound machine stops only one abortion each week, Our program will save more than 60,000 lives this year. The Knights of Columbus has already helped save hundreds of thousands of unborn children. It is building the culture of life, one heart and one child at a time.
At the heart of the Order's work of building a culture of life is caring for families in need. The system of mutual aid started by Father McGivney has grown into an extraordinary Fortune 1000 insurance program, one that has provided security and stability to millions of Catholics.
In 2000, our insurance in force stood at $40 billion, and our assets under management at $8 billion. Today, those numbers have grown to more than $113 billion of insurance in force and $26 billion in assets. Now, such performance does not happen miraculously overnight. It is the result of a consistent and disciplined sales and investment strategy, and it is the result of the dedicated Brother Knights who serve as our field agents.
At Wednesday's interactive online business session, Archbishop Lori thanked the Supreme Knight for his long and excellent tenure, and especially his faithful stewardship of the cause for canonization of the founder.
If we were all together in one room, there would be thunderous applause at this point, but I'm willing to wager that all of you who are listening to my words are applauding, not only with your hands, but also in the depths of your heart, for this Brother Knight who leads us so well and so wisely. Through the intercession of the soon-to-be blessed Michael J. McGivney, may God bless you, worthy Supreme Knight. May God bless your wife Dorian and your family.
During the business meeting, delegates gathered in their home jurisdictions, connected by technology. At the last session, delegates adopted a series of resolutions. Appreciation to His Holiness Pope Francis, support for an equitable immigration policy, an honoring of Christopher Columbus, a condemnation of abortion and the eugenics movement, solidarity with persecuted Christians in Africa and East Asia, and solidarity with Christians in the Middle East. At the annual awards session, the Supreme Council recognized award-winning councils from around the world.
The Leave No Neighbor Behind program is exactly what the Knights of Columbus exemplifies. A major part of being a Knight is charity, and that is what we do. It's a perfect example of what we as Knights do for the community and for our fellow brothers.
If it wasn't for the Knights of Columbus, this wouldn't even be possible. And a lot of people wouldn't have the Christmases that they've been having.
Family, for me, is everything.
If you want to evangelize, you'd be like the Morales family.
Our fellowship in Christ impels us to seek one another's good, to help one another along the path of virtue and Christian manhood and discipleship, to support one another in living the vocation of marriage and family life, and to support our brother priests in being true to their vocation. In this Eucharistic fellowship, our care and concern for Brother Knights and family members extends beyond the confines of this world, as today we commend them with the help of Father McGivney's intercession to the risen and exalted Lord.
In May 2020, Pope Francis approved the miracle attributed to the intercession of Father McGivney in a fraternal year of pandemic and unrest. The timing of the founder's beatification announcement seems providential.
The beatification of Father McGivney is incredible. We're so blessed to be living in this time where we get to witness this. My father was a knight. My father used to bring me to Knights events when I was a child. He's the one who introduced me to Father McGivney. He's the one who said he would be a saint someday. And to see this happening this year, it's a dream come true.
There is another reason why we should all rejoice in our founder's beatification. A Knights of Columbus family had a pivotal role in bringing this day about.
I started with the Knights in 2005, and I decided I would look into being a Knights of Columbus insurance agent after reading Parish Priest, because I really felt like coming into this business, I have to be an apostle of Father McGivney, that we take care of Catholic families. It was December 31st, baby number 13, that we had the ultrasound that revealed the Down syndrome. We were advised to get some additional testing done. They pulled the ultrasound up on the screen, showing us how his body looked like it was completely full of fluid, like a little balloon. He said, well, he has fetal hydrops diagnosis. This is going to be terminal. I said, Father McGivney, if you will pray for him, then we will change his name, and I will name him after you.
I just kept thinking, Lord, let this baby be the miracle. If he's Father McGivney's miracle, then he will live.
Every year, the Knights of Columbus puts on an incentive trip for their agents. So in January of 2014, it was announced that we were going with a pilgrimage to Fatima.
Daniel and I asked all of our friends that were close to please pray through the intercession of Father McGivney on the day that we were in Fatima. Physically, I felt like a veil was lifted. The brokenness in my heart was softened. And then we came home, and I went to the appointment to see where the baby was.
The doctor came in and read the ultrasound, and everything looked like a normal Down syndrome baby. That is the moment where you have to acknowledge that something has happened here that was miraculous.
God chooses the miracles. God chooses who is beatified. He chooses who is canonized. He wants Father McGivney to be honored, and so he shall be.
How can we not see in the circumstances of this miracle an affirmation of the vision and legacy of our founder? And how can we not also see in the circumstances of this miracle the call to each of us, as Brother Knights of Columbus, to live more fully our own vocation of charity, unity, and fraternity? Soon we will call our beloved founder blessed, and millions around the world will better understand why Father McGivney has been a blessing to generations of Catholics. But with Father McGivney's beatification comes special responsibility. It calls us to an ever higher standard of charity, unity, and fraternity. So let us rejoice and be glad in this day the Lord has made. Let us renew our own faith as we step forward together as Knights of Columbus, Knights of Fraternity, to continue our great work. And may our founder, Michael McGivney, pray for us. Vivat Jesus.